gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Such a pleasure to have Felicia Marie on the show. Felicia Marie is a personal development consultant and also a motivational speaker and the author of the book, The Second Act Roadmap Workbook. Welcome to the show, Felicia Marie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming to the show, Felicia. Now I'm looking to a really worthwhile time with you on the show today. Felicia, now your consulting and your area of expertise focuses on the 40 plus, right? The question that I'd like to ask you is that what is great about being 40 plus?
The wisdom that we learned along the way is valuable. So when you look up and you start to take inventory over your life, you start to look at all the wisdom and all the information you've gathered over the time. So you kind of know how to maneuver, how to deal with people better, and what will work and what will not work when you're in different environments.
Awesome. So now let's talk about health and wellness. We all know that when you get to you 40 and going forward, a lot takes toll on you, especially on your health and your wellness. You need to get yourself together. Now, going by your area of expertise and also your personal life journey, I would like you to share this to my audience. What are some important habits that we need to take, right, in order to have a really worthwhile healthy living? And also, what are the kind of healthy lifestyles we need to take in order to be 40 plus and fabulous?
Well, for me to be 40 plus and fabulous, we have to be of sound mind and spirit. And so I would suggest for me, I do a 10-minute guided meditation every morning. It starts my day. It gets me in a great spirit. I also write in my journal. I don't leave my writings without at least 3 things that I'm very grateful for. It doesn't matter how big, how small, but those things set the tone for the day. So if I can guide anybody on how to just really be at peace at this point in your life, is to do some guided meditation. And I would get up to guided meditation, but I've just recently started going to sleep with some kind of meditation music in the background so that I have a sound sleep. Because what I want to do at this stage of my life is to be at a mental peace so that I can keep moving forward in the direction that I'm trying to go at this stage of my life. Yeah. Guided meditation is I found to be very, very powerful and calming my spirit and making sure that today's society with everything that's going on doesn't really take too much an effect on me, because at my age and, with pandemics and all of the things that are going on, we need to find our happy place. And and that's just me, I've started gardening and getting into my personal gardening space where I'm into nature. And so things that bring me peace is guided meditation and getting outside a little bit more in my outdoor space. Absolutely.
Right. Now, in your book, The Second Act Roadmap, right, your focus is to help women, right, who is in their midlife find their sweet spot. Felicia, what do you mean by this?
So a lot of people in their midlife, okay, so I always say we're not going to go through a midlife crisis. We're going to go through a midlife transformation, because they like to put a lot of negative connotation on midlife crisis. And so I like to flip that and say we're going through a midlife transformation. Now, what that looks like for everybody is very different. And so a lot of people don't know what they want to do next after they retire or after they be going through a major transition in their life after a certain age, whether it's a divorcee, an empty nester, or someone who wants to just leave a corporate position that they've been in for over 20 years. What do they do now? How do they start beginning the process of living life on their terms? Because for so many years, We've lived for other people. We've taken jobs that we necessarily didn't want, but we needed. We've done things for our spouses that we didn't necessarily want to do, but we did those things to get along and to make a happy home. But now it's time to start living life on our terms and what makes us happy. And for some of us, it takes effort to find out what that is. So what I've developed is a way to start mind mapping and developing who you are as a person, your personality traits, identifying what other people see you as when you walk into a room. So we start pulling out those things that you can put together to figure out what it is that you can do to bring people joy, to bring yourself joy, and also to catapult you into the next chapter. So if you say to me, Felicia, here's a list of things that I like to do. So we start breaking down that list. But we also got to make sure if you're compatible with a lot of things that you like to do, because what you like to do temporarily may not be what you want to do in the long run. So I work with women and we start mind mapping and we start doing things of breaking down who we are as a person, not to mention what we're capable of doing from our past and what we've been trained to do, and bring it all together in one beautiful plan to move you forward into the next chapter. And that's the second act of your life, I like to say.
Right. Now, Felicia, in the same book of yours, you advise women who are 40 plus, right, to leave their career, right, in order for them to begin their legacy work. Is this compulsory or is it an option?
I think it's an option, because even if you're not ready to actually leave your job, you can start the preparation for departure. And I always use these terms because I used to work for an airline for the last 15 years here in Atlanta. And so I use those terms, prepare for departure. Just with anything, if preparation is done correctly, when you do decide to make that leap and leave your current position of work, then you're prepared more than just jumping in. With me, I had to jump in quickly because an opportunity arose where I had to leave my position. And it was a very lucrative position, but I just knew that if I didn't take this opportunity now and start working on me, now, mind you, I had savings and I prepared mentally, because I said 3 years prior to all of this, I said, the next opportunity that presents itself, I was going to take it. And when that opportunity came, I literally had a panic attack because I was like, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? And I made the decision without consulting anybody, because I needed to know that I made this decision on my own. Because if you have too many people inputting their opinions and their advice and what they would do, you're not going to make the decision that's best for you. So I can say, if you prepare properly, if you do the necessary steps that it's going to take for you to leave your current position, then you will be successful at the departure.
Oh, awesome. Right. Good to know. Thank you once again, Felicia Marie, for your beautiful insight on today's show. Now, I want us to talk about career shifts, career transition, and also the business organizations. Now, when you clock 40 plus, right, the world tends to let you know that it's time to get a life back. And then you begin the search to get a new life back. Now, what advice will you give to women who are in this age bracket in terms of making a career transition? And what role does the business organization, what role do they have to play, right, in this regard?
You're talking about like making a transition into a new career?
That's right.
Okay. So if you decide that you want to still go into another workplace, best advice I would say is investigate what it is that you want to go into. And also, I always read reviews. I don't always take them as a grain of salt, but I do want a yin and a yang perspective on a new career and what it looks like, day-to-day activity. I hope I'm answering that question properly on if you want to change careers what you should do. And so for me, I do the research. I'm a big research person. That's why I wanted to understand the whole data science situation. But when you do the research, you can also see the day-to-day activities of what other people are doing. And you can also see what those retirees were like when they left that position. Were they happy? Were they sad to go? So these all play a different role in how you make a decision if you're going to do a career change, because sometimes things look glamorous. Hey, I always said I wanted to go into the tech field, and the tech field because it's very monetarily lucrative. But are people happy in the tech field? Well, what I learned is certain fields they are, certain fields they're stressed, and certain fields they're not. So do your homework, do your research, and also reach out to people in like-minded groups about the career that you're interested in going into, and see what people are saying and hear what people who are actually doing the job that you want to do are advising you how to get started, what to avoid. And that way, when you make that leap of faith into that career, you won't go in there blindsided, just all happy that you're into something new, but you're equipped with a lot of knowledge before you leap.
Right. It is understandable that in this chaotic life that we find ourselves, right, women with 40 plus inclusive, there's a lot of stress leading to burnout.
Oh, yeah.
We lost our true joy. We lost our true sense of happiness. Felicia, I'd like you to share your personal life experience to take this home for me. How can we begin to get our life back?
Well, you start getting your life back with a little bit of self-care. I can give you an example of what I decided to do. I hadn't been on a vacation in 2 years. I'm talking about a real vacation. But sometimes for everybody, a vacation monetarily may not be suitable. But there are some things when it comes to self-care to avoid that you can do to avoid burnout, to avoid depression, to avoid anxiety. And so for me, I wanted to go to the ocean. And I live in Georgia, so the ocean is literally 4 hours away from me in each direction that I go. If I go east or if I go south, the ocean is 4 hours away. And even if I had to get on a bus, which I didn't, I would take myself to a place of where I call my happy space. And so for me to avoid the burnout that I was experiencing after I left my job, the stress of what do I do next, going back to school. It's a lot going on. But what you have to do is find a little bit of self-care that you can afford or take part in that won't cost you a lot. And then you have to implement it. So when I decided that I was going to take myself to the ocean, to the beach, I decided that once I was there, I was going to relax. And I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to worry about finances when it came to all of the things that go along with a vacation. I was just going to be in the moment. And once I was in the moment, just sitting on the beach alone by myself, I sat on the beach praying, meditating, and asking myself how to continue to be in this moment mentally. If I can't be in here physically, how can I be in this moment mentally? I also decided that every 3 to 4 months, I was going back to the beach. I was going back to a large body of water. I was going to do those things that I found peace and solitude in. So 3 months from the date that I went to the beach, I found another large body of water. And that's where I went and I sat and I practiced my meditation and I practiced that self-care, because it was very valuable to me to not have those mental thoughts of burnout, depression. I didn't want that to creep back in. And if anybody out there in the sound of my voice can hear, self-care doesn't have to be a big spa weekend. It doesn't have to be that. It could be any kind of staycation at a nice hotel, at just a place of refuge away from your normal spot. And I think that if you just really start working on little steps of self-care, if that's what it's going to take for you to get to that mental state, then that's what you have to do. So burnout is real. I've been there. Imposter syndrome is real. So you have to understand what that is. And that really is lack of self-confidence. So in order for you to get in the right frame of mind, to build your confidence up, to know what you're capable and not capable of, is to really take some issue into having your own self-care regimen.
Right. Good to know. Now, I'd like you to help my audience address the situation of women who are 40 plus and suddenly realize that they hit the success target. They become successful at the age of 40 plus going forward. Mm-hmm. So now you need to begin to think of the success. How are you going to manage the success? How are you going to maintain and sustain it? You also need to consider your own personal life, your family, juggling between these conflicting priorities. So I would like you to address this for my audience. How does a woman who is in this age bracket, how does he or she strike a balance?
Well, that's a good question for me because I live simplistically. And when you want to really use your success wisely, you have to understand the value. What's valuable to you? Is it material things? Is it peace? Is it a simple existence? Is it really just scaling down? When you start to really think about your success, for me, success, not only did I have the monetary success, but I also had the peace of mind success when I realized what was important and what was not important. When you really start to scale down and live simplistically, then you'll find the freedom that you really, really are seeking is always there. It's just that we have created this environment where we got to have stuff, right? So once you realize that all these years, all that stuff didn't matter, what really matters is peace of mind and the freedom to move about the cabin, as I like to say, move about the country, move about the world or wherever you are. It comes down to what you place value on. So you can still be successful and have all the money in the world, but if it doesn't equate to your peace and what you deem as freedom, for me, I don't have a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of material things anymore. Those things no longer made me happy. What made me happy was the freedom to not stress about paying for stuff, right? So I'm not saying you don't have to have the finer things in life, but does the finer things in life at this point in your life bring you that kind of joy? And that's where you have to really evaluate what success looks like then and what success looks like now. For me and a lot of women that I've spoken to, they have no desire for a lot of material things, and a lot of material things weigh them down. And so you can be successful, but you can flip the script on what success looks like. And that is freeing yourself from the stuff that bogged you down in your past.
Right. Good to know. Thank you once again, Felicia Marie, for your incredible insight on today's show. Now, focusing on women who are 40 plus, really have a great time. Do you have any projects in the pipeline you'd like to share with my audience?
Well, I have been running a 5-day challenge, and that has posed to be very successful. It's not just, it's a little bit different because I don't want anything to be so monochromatic that people don't want to show up. So I've been running a successful 5-day challenge where we do a lot of mind mapping and self-discovery, how to get through obstacles, what obstacles you're going to face when you're starting over. And we're also going to figure out, create outlines and vision boards and all of the things that you need to start looking at every day to change your trajectory on who it is that you want to be in your second act. Your second act does not have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be stressful planning it. So what I like to do is create an environment where it's fun. We have a lot of dialogue. We have a lot of questions. So it's a 5-day challenge that I'm running in my Facebook group, Felicia Marie's Motivational Corner. It's so much fun. It's probably less than an hour a day. And the women on there, they want to come back for more. So I'm doing the 5-day challenge. We have the workbook that you'll get with the 5-day challenge. I am enjoying the feedback. I'm enjoying building a community. And that's my goal right now, is to build a community of women who need hand-holding because they still don't want you to just turn them loose. It's a community of women that, we work together. So I'm trying to build my community. I'm showing up on Clubhouse. I don't know if your audience is familiar with Clubhouse. And so we have I call it roundtable discussions on what we are dealing with when we face that 40 plus club. And if you just need somebody to talk out a problem that you're having, we are there. I'm going to build that community. I feel it in my spirit because I want people, when they deal with me, to have a good energy. I want to literally help women figure it out because I've always been independent. It doesn't matter if I've had a man in my life or not. I've always been independent. And I want women at this point in our life to realize you can be independent too. You can have the life that you dream. And it's not a big deal to only anybody but you. So once you decide, it's on from there. So my Facebook group, my Clubhouse community, my 5-day challenge, Felicia Marie Motivates is where you can find me, from FeliciaMarieMotivates.com. If you'd like to, book a call with me and let's talk, no cost to you. We're just going to talk and figure out where you are in the process and how I can help you. And if I can't help you, I don't mind advising who can help you. That's what I'm about.
Sounds great and good to know, Felicia. Now, I'm really wishing you a really great time and success in your project.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you for having me on your show. I know it's a wonderful piece of information that everybody is going to, I just want women at our age to understand that you're not alone. And a lot of women do feel alone in this journey. I know I did. So I'm happy that you have this platform, and I'm so honored that you wanted me as a guest. And I just believe that this is something that we all need to understand a little bit more about ourselves.
Sure. Thank you once again for the motivation, Felicia Marie. Wish you best of luck once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, if you'd like to catch up with any of these episodes of Live Knowledge by Omobola Stephen, do so on any cross-promotion platforms you bump into, and do have a word right time. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on today's show on Live Knowledge by Omobola Stephen, sharing disruptive mindset content or insight on personal development and self-improvement, you can mail me at omobolastephen.o@outlook.com. Now, I'll be looking forward to you, Mia, till I come your way. I need you to be good. Talk to you soon.